Fire. Your ability to start a fire is important for staying warm in cold climates, for cooking food, and for sterilizing water. I'll start with simple instructions on building a campfire with matches and paper, and then proceed through the more Spartan methods, ending with the difficult process of starting a fire by rubbing two sticks together. Starting a fire with matches. Materials. I like to separate my materials into piles by size. Start by gathering with a couple handfuls of tinder, about a third of a shopping bag's worth of kindling, at least a half shopping bag's worth of small sticks 8 to 2 inches thick, and at least a shopping bag's worth of thicker wood 2 to 12 inches thick. Tinder. Any kind of material that takes very little heat to start it on fire can be used for tinder. Paper makes great tinder, if you have matches. If you don't have matches and are attempting to build a fire with a spark, see starting a fire with flint and steel. Below, you will need extra fine dry tinder, dry pine needles, fine dry grasses, shredded paper, birch bark, dried moss, bird down, mouse nests, cotton balls, wood shavings, pulverized dry pinnock cones, and fibrous inner cedar bark make good tinder. Kindling. Kindling must catch on fire within a few seconds from burning tinder, yet burns for only a few minutes to ignite the larger pieces of wood. Dry pine needles, still stuck to branches, are perfect. Small twigs, vs to 4-inch thick, are also excellent. Test the sticks to see if they are dry or wet. If the sticks can be bent and twisted without snapping, they are wet and will not do for kindling. If all available kindling is wet, you can still burn green pine needles, or else you must find standing wood, which can be split with an axe, or shaved down to find a dry core. You can make feather sticks for kindling from larger sticks of wood by carving many shallow cuts with a knife to create fine curved shavings protruding from the side of the sticks. Positioning the fire. Build your fire in a protected spot, especially if the area is windy. If it is exceptionally windy, you may have to dig a trench for your fire or build it on the leeward side of a fallen tree or large rock. If the ground is swampy or the snow is deep, you may have to build your fire on a platform of green logs covered by dirt. Caution! Do not use stones from a riverbed or porous stones around or under a fire. These stones can explode when heated due to internal steam pockets. Building the fire. If you have paper, crumple a couple sheets, build a small pile of fine kindling on top of the paper. Then light the paper in several places. If you don't have paper, use 2 handfuls of extremely fine, dry tinder instead. Make sure you don't smother the tiny flames of the beginning fire with a pile that's too big or too tightly packed, or by stacking larger wood too quickly onto the fire. As the kindling catches on fire, pile on more kindling and gradually add thicker chunks of wood. Make sure the fire gets enough air circulating through it. Either build your fire in a crisscross fashion or lean the wood against itself in a teepee-like cone shape to ensure that there are plenty of gaps between the wood for air circulation. A well-built fire, with dry wood and plenty of gaps for air circulation, will not smoke much. Starting a fire with flint and steel. Flint is a naturally occurring stone that yields heavy sparks when struck by a knife or other sharp stones. Artificial flints do the same thing and may come with a saw striker, which creates lots of good sparks. Starting a fire with the spark from the flint requires patience, shelter from wind, and very fine, dry tinder. Strike sparks into your tinder and gently blow on a spark resting in the tinder until it grows into flames. Continue building your fire following the previous set of instructions. A modern improvement on the flint and steel is a commercial man.